y'all evaluate them and take him to keep him away from the other levels?
Nah, you know, we don't have unlimited picks, so you got to hit. The one good thing about college recruiting is you can sign 25 guys. It doesn't matter if you hit or miss on all 25, you know, because you can hide your mistakes in college recruiting. Because if you sign 25 and 10 of them become players for you, the other 15 are just role players or maybe never even make it. That's okay because you know you've hit on 10. In the NFL with 7 picks, you better hit on all 7 or somewhat close. You know, some people say, "Oh, he's a late round pick. It doesn't really matter." Oh, it matters.
Undrafted free agent.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I've had a boss before that we focused more time on 5th, 6th, 7th round in free agents than we did on the first 4. Just because the first 4, it's easy to pick. I mean, it's easy to turn on the tape and see the good players. I mean, anybody can do that. You know, we can all turn on, no matter how many years of experience you have, everybody can watch and see the good players. It's figuring out the later rounds and in free agency that really is as an area scout like myself, that's where you really can make yourself, you know, kind of valuable. That's where you make yourself known. Like right before I left, the night before, my contract was up the next day, and I knew I was leaving Houston anyway, but the night before I helped sign Arian Foster from Tennessee. And then he goes on and becomes, you know, rushing champion 2 years later and everything else. And so, you know, you can make your name that way. Of course, I don't get any credit for it, which is fine, but, you know, that's how, you know, I had a conviction about Arian, though, and I kept fighting the battle, and I kept fighting the battle, and kept fighting the battle because he didn't have a great spring. He didn't have a great fall. He didn't have a great spring, and so there was a lot of people that were down on him, and because he got injured at the Senior Bowl, he didn't run at the Combine, and his pro day was out in California, not at Knoxville, and so there was just a lot of factors that you know led to a lot of people kind of being a little bit weary, and so I had a conviction though, and I talked to Coach Fulmer, and because of my sources at Tennessee, again, you know, because of my network, I had people in my network that I trusted, and they said, no, this kid's fine, you know, this is what you need to know, X, Y, and Z, and so I fought the good fight and stayed true to the very end, and
he was undrafted.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, sorry for being late. I'm not really sure if you can answer my question, but it's kind of like related since it's athletic training. You work with them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I can answer the question.
I mean, yeah, I know.
If it's anatomy, I don't.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, what advice or encouragement could you give me, like, trying to go that route? Because I would like to work with, like, NFL athletes. Or even
well, it's just like I was telling these guys before you got here, is you know, are you working in the training room here or working in training yet?
I mean, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I was telling these guys before you got here, it's you got to get experience. You know, if you want to work in the athletic training arena, you have to get experience in athletic training, and you have to do that any means necessary, whether it's volunteering, working in local high schools, you know, volunteering here as a student assistant, you know, for different, and I know everybody wants to work with football for the most part, but
I mean, any sport. Really.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you have to be willing to sometimes, you know, go do rowing and badminton and track and field, you know.
Right.
So sometimes you just have to get that experience any way you can. But obviously, being was it NATA certified or ATC?
Yeah,
ATC is the code, but yeah, National Athletic Training Association certified. And most of the trainers in our business have just started at the lower levels and worked their way up just like the players and everybody else. You know, it's, you know, you can get summer internships with teams, you know, because we do have the version of spring practice that goes on in colleges, we do that stuff in the summer, and it's called organized team activities, not spring ball. But we have a lot of people that are interns for equipment, you know, for training. Every team does, you know, because you just have, mainly because the roster goes from 53 to 85. So you just have more athletes to take care of. So they bring in more people. You know, there's more laundry to do. There's more ankles to take. There's more.
Yeah, like
you know,
right now I take ankles and wrists.
Yeah.
So that's kind of somewhat extreme, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just it. You just have to keep building your athletic training resume now. Yeah. That's the key. Is just keep networking with people. I know there's some scouts that, you know, we still go to coaching clinics. You know, you still learn, you know, it's not like we know everything about X's and O's either. You still go to coaching clinics to not only continue to, you know, stay abreast of the most recent trends of football, because football's changed, college football's changed for us, because now with all the spread and everything else, we have to project quarterbacks and receivers and all this different stuff. So you have to know what the colleges are teaching these kids. You know, and what may be an easy playbook for them to learn at college may not be so easy when they come to our level, because they're doing things that are so different.
Has that been challenging when you're trying to scout a player and their abilities, because they are playing in a different structure? They're not playing in the old pro
Right.
set offense.
It's
Like Georgia Tech.
right. The worst the worst fear you have as a scout is when you have to start projecting something that you don't see them do, because now you're taking a wing and a prayer. You're taking it's a hunch. It's based on experience with other players that have played the same position in the same type offense. I'm saying that I think this player projects this. The good example is we went through it with the two quarterbacks, Mariota, Winston. You know, does this transfer? Is this going to translate? And so we had to go back and do the research of, where is he in the progression of being a developed passer in the NFL versus other quarterbacks that have come out of that system. How successful have they been? And so, you go through those evaluations all the time, and that's where experience comes in. That's where experience of 15 years of seeing guys over and over and over and over again either make it or not make it, to where you can kind of compare apples and apples versus just going, which is what you guys think we do anyway, just throw a dart.
And it's interesting because Titans face the Titans the first week of.
Yeah, it's gonna be real interesting, because I was in Houston whenever we took Mario Williams over Reggie Bush and Vince Young. And then the first time Vince Young came back to Houston and played us, he went to high school just down the street from our stadium in Houston. And when the first time he came back to play us, he ripped off about a 60-yard run at the end of the game and won the game. So he trotted around the stadium and high-fived all the fans that came in to see him at the Houston Stadium. And our owner's head was about the color of my shirt. He was so upset. So, yeah, it could. I'd rather us not play the Titans week 1, to be honest with you. I'd rather not play the Titans at all.
Wait till this end of the week 17 to the records,
Yeah, it could be worse at the end. I don't know. One may be far advanced than the other at that point. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fun.
So how close was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers choosing Mariota over Winston? Like, is it?
Disclosed information.
Yeah, I can disclose that.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it. And
Hopefully you guys got something out of it. Yeah.
And one of the things I always suggest that you guys do when you have a speaker in your classes or in these presentations, introduce yourself, make a connection with your speaker before you leave, okay? Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Hope you got something out of it. I know I did. And thank you. Have a good weekend. Remember, there's no classes Monday, right?
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
that.
Labor Day.
Yeah,
You guys all from Georgia for the most part? Around this area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody else? Any more questions?
Ready?
We were never taking Mary. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. That was all.